Okay, here we go. Can you all see the screen?
Fabulous. Yep.
Okay, and then there's no faces in the way for you. Is it just for me? Sorry, technical issues. Okay, well, welcome. I'm so excited to do this presentation today. Again, my name is Teresa, and what I really do is that I provide coaching and strategic guidance for high-achieving women that are ready to succeed with more elegance and less struggle. It's all about nourishing yourself to the top, but how did I get here? For me, it really all started with my own story. And I want to take you back to about a year ago. I sat in my office as a GM of a luxury boutique hotel and I picked up the phone. As I dialed the numbers, I was literally freaking out. On the other side of the line was the owner of the company who had just offered me a VP role to step up and build all of its other businesses. I made the phone call to decline the offer and resign from my role after 6 years building up a business and creating a successful property. I was literally in distress. And when I hung up that phone, there was this part of me that was incredibly excited and incredibly thrilled about what was happening next, which was me jumping into my business full time. But at the same time, this wave of doubt overcame me. Who am I if I'm not the general manager of a luxury boutique hotel? Who am I if I'm not earning a six-figure income? Who am I when I'm in a startup business? There were so many things that were going through my mind. And what I started to realize is that one thing that happened for me, that happens to so many of us, is that we start to get lost in identifying ourselves with what we do instead of understanding who we actually are. And throughout our lifetime, we let so many things come into our life that determine how we show up and what decisions we make. And it can get our mind to be very, very busy all the time. And so as I approached the new year and as I resolved some of those things for me, I started to realize that so much of the things that I had learned over the last couple of years were really to do with our mind and how we show up and really understanding who we are at our core so that we can actually create experiences we truly want and a lifestyle we truly want, rather than taking everything that happens to us for face value and attaching meaning to it. And that's how I ended up realizing that because we just take so many things for face value and we just respond and we attach to what happens to us in our lives to who we are, we end up struggling. But if we flip that and if we start to create from within, we really get to succeed with more elegance, with more joy, with more pleasure, with more play. And we get to be successful and we get to be ourselves at the same time. So how do we do it? Over this past year, I sat back and I was really thinking about that. And I came up with really a 3-step process that I took myself through and now teach all of my clients that will help you go from struggling to succeeding with elegance. And it's quite fun. See, Deepak Chopra said that if you change your story, you can change your life. And the thing is that we want to go from darkness into the light. When it comes to your own story, most of us spend a lot of time in what I call a dark room. And there's a door we have to find. And we go off in the dark trying to find the door. And we get really good at opening doors in the dark. But none of us actually thinks about turning the light on. And when we bring awareness to who we are, our story, what's working for us, our thoughts, our words, and actions, we're actually able to turn that light switch on and we can start to understand what parts of the story we actually want to change and who we are at our core. What makes us us? And that's the fun process around really creating really, really deep awareness around everything that goes on for you in your mind. See, the same thing in the darkness is that so many people walk around and say, I'm busy. Think of it yourself for a second. How many times this week have you said that you're busy when someone asked you how you're doing? How are you? I'm busy. What you're up to? Or loads, I'm busy. So we say all these things and we create all these identities for us where we end up being a busy person. And that's exactly what we experience because the story we're writing is the one of a person that's busy. And so this awareness piece is so powerful because the second you know that that is what you're doing, that that is what you're creating, you can actually change the outcomes that you're getting. and it makes it super, super powerful. I can totally geek out and talk for hours about awareness, but really it's about being able to go from experience life happening to you to experience life happening for you, and then going inward and define and choose the experience that you want instead. And that is incredibly powerful. We turn the light switch on, we can see everything that's in that room, and we can start to decorate the room in a way that we actually want it to look like, instead of frantically going looking for doors out to get into the next room. So once we have that awareness, once we understand our story, the next step really is to bring intention back. And intention is really about powerful choice. See, what do you want to do with that awareness? What do you want to do when you realize that you self-identify with your job and maybe you've lost it and now you're not sure who you are anymore? What do you want to do with the awareness when you realize that you share on a constant basis that you're busy and that you're busy all the time? What do you want to do with that, right? That is so powerful, because most of us will say that we're busy, will realize that we self-identify with something that doesn't work for us anymore, yet we choose to do nothing, and that is a choice too. So when it comes to intention, it's really understanding, how do you lead yourself? And there's free, with these powerful choices, there's also the free critical resources that we can start to manage, which is yourself, your relationships that you have around you, and your time. And again, it's just a matter of understanding, what is it that you like, turn the light switch on, understand everything that's in the room, make it beautiful, and then make a choice based on what it is that you want. And it's really powerful because you allow yourself to create this lifestyle based on your desire, based on the experience that you actually want. And I'll give you a simple example. Have you ever gotten to the end of your day, 5, maybe 6 o'clock, and you got to this point where you felt, oh, I have hundreds of emails that I need to answer and I should really stay, but you're kind of tired. You kind of understanding that really staying doesn't really feel good. And you have a choice to make. Yes, your autopilot, right? When we're in the dark room, we're functioning on autopilot. Your autopilot just decides that you're going to stay and answer those 100 emails because you've always done it over and over again. Now, when we're intentional, we can actually start to use that awareness. Okay, it's 5 p.m. and I'm realizing I have a choice to make. That's step one. What choice is it that you want? And when we determine a feeling that we're after, if you want to feel more balanced, for example, then you can ask yourself, what's the choice that feels more balanced? Does it feel more balanced to stay and answer the 100 emails? Or does it feel more balanced to leave and go do that yoga class or go spend some time with my family? And when you break it down to a simple choice, you really start to get intentional about how you want to feel, what you want to experience, and then make an empowered choice in that direction. And that's really where intention comes in. It's about intentional action taking, intentional living, and really thinking about the choices we make rather than letting the autopilot, the dark room, take over, right? We turn the light on, we start to create a choice, and we choose intentionally to move us in the direction of our choosing. And that is game changer. Such a game changer, I promise you. And the last piece to this is really energy. Now, I'm big on energy, and Ralph Waldo Emerson said that the world belongs to the energetic. And I truly believe that. See, have you ever experienced this where you walked into a room or you were at an event and someone walked in and there was just something about them. You felt really drawn to them. You really felt there was something special about them, but you couldn't quite wrap your head around what it was. And then maybe you walked up to them and you had a conversation and you realized that you're not so different, that there's loads of things you have in common, but somehow that person just had this different feeling about it. And that is the energy we give up, the energy we show up with. And when we start to realize that we have choice, we have power to choose to bring energy to all the things we do and rid ourselves of the things that don't give us energy, we start to show up differently, and we're able to magnetize and we're able to create this beautiful energy around us that attracts things to us and makes life feel more effortless and more easy. So it's really about living your life based on taking action that gives you energy and letting go of the stuff that doesn't. And I like to always look at 5 big areas here, which is your career, money or finances, relationships, it's your relationship to yourself and others, health and spirituality, and really go through them and just ask yourself, when it comes to my career, does what I do energize me? Even break it down into all the pieces throughout a day, right? Which pieces do make me feel energized and which take my energy away? And when you do that, and when you start looking at that, again, you can go back to step 1, understanding what's my story? What am I telling myself here? Maybe you're in a business and you could really use some support. Maybe it's time to hire a VA, get some help, right? Or a coach, get some help to do some of those things. But you're telling yourself that you have to do something else before you can have that, right? Like there is power in that. And now you can bring it back to what's the intention? You want more balance. Okay, well, what would be an energizing choice even for you to make? Maybe it is hiring the support, because if you give away the pieces that drain your energy, you're able to show up more powerfully in the areas that give you energy. And there's a lot more to this that I can't pack in 8 minutes. But that is just one out of many examples where you can really do that. And you can go back to this over and over. I love checking in on my big 5 every single month to see where I'm at and to understand where am I leaking energy all over the place.
Teresa, fabulous.
Oh, great. That's great. I'm almost done. I need to hurry up, don't I? Well, life on the other side of struggle, let me tell you, is peaceful, fun, light, effortless, expansive, and pleasurable, and dare I say, successful on a whole new level. So thank you so much for listening to me for 8 minutes. I hope you enjoyed this. And I work with clients one-on-one, as well as I'm offering group coaching programs and masterminds and trainings. So feel free to get in touch and check out what I'm up to. And I can't wait to answer some of your questions now, if you have any.
Love it, Teresa. Absolutely superb. Anyone got any questions? Really enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Well, I know who my second guest will be on my podcast. I'm already recruiting Stephen, and now Teresa. I'm launching in December. So yeah, that was awesome. I loved it. And so much overlap in the